Good morning, student. Today's chapter, that is chapter number 7. Already I've discussed the introduction part of this chapter. Already we discussed regarding deforestation. So today in this chapter we'll study next is activity 7.2. So due to deforestations, there are various disadvantages, which is a vast effect on the wildlife and the nature, we can say. So also we know that animals' life is also affected by deforestation. If you see activity 7.2, you have to write in a notebook and just as a homework, in the form of homework, you have to write this. Animals' life is also affected by deforestation. How the animals' life is affected by deforestation? List the points and discuss them in your home. So list this point. So I will just few points I will just tell you. So what are the effects uh, that is created among the animals' life due to deforestation? So first one is, so deforestation leads to disturbances is caused in food chain. It causes disturbances in food chain. Food chain means their life cycle. So what happened? Herbivorous animals, the heat depends on some insects. So this herbivorous is eaten by carnivorous animals. So this cycles that is called food chain. So this also will be disturbed due to deforestation. Also, if you cut down the trees, also the animals and the animals those lives in forest will become homeless. They will become homeless. So and also we can say easy prey for hunters like lion, tigers. They eat other animals that they can easily catch catch those animals. So there will be a easy prey for hunters. And also the animals also will be scarcity of food due to deforestation. There will be availability of food will be reduced. Availability of food will be reduced within the remaining habitat place. Got it now? So next one is, due to deforestation also there is a chances of natural calamities. The animal faces some natural calamities. These are the consequences if there is a deforestation in that particular area or place, we can say. So now today's we'll discuss, that is studying conservation of forest and wildlife. How do you conserve forest and wildlife? Why we conserve? In order to in order to avoid of cutting down the trees, and also we are saving the life of various animals and plants. So therefore, this our government has make an arrangement to conserve forest and wildlife. So we know the effects of deforestation. Already we've discussed certain points, 3 to 4, 5 points we have discussed regarding deforestation. So if you, how this forest and wildlife can be saved? This is our question in this chapter. How how forest and wildlife can be saved? So how it can be saved? So here you can see first one is, already I've discussed biosphere, national park. These are the biosphere reserves, we can say. Biosphere means what? Biosphere is the part of the earth in which living organism exist. Bio means life. Sphere means at a particular place where life exists or which support life. Our earth is a biosphere. In our earth we find biosphere part of earth. It's a biosphere where living organisms live. We are living organisms. Animals, plants, as well as human beings are included as a living organisms. So biological diversity or biodiversity refers to the variety of organisms exist on the earth, their interrelationship and their relationship with the environment. We are directly or indirectly we are related with the nature. We are already, I have discussed in this chapter, maybe this chapter we are related indirectly or directly to the plants. If plants, due to deforestation, there is shortage of trees and plants availability of on the earth. So if it is the trees and plants are available in pure in if that is cutted, if trees and plants are cut down, so there will be a rise in carbon dioxide, which leads in global warming. Already I've discussed regarding all those. So we are interrelated with the interrelationship with their relationship with the environment. We are directly or indirectly we are related to the environment. So here you will find in most part of the India or most part of our every state, you will find there are certain biosphere reserve or you can say national park for conserving plants and wildlife or wildlife and wildlife and forest. So here we know that the plants and animals found here are similar to those of Upper Himalayas peak and in those belonging to the Lower East Western Ghats. You have Panchmari, Panchmari Biosphere Reserve. This is found in MP. This is found in Madhya Pradesh. This biosphere reserves is found in Madhya Pradesh. Here, whatever plants and animals that are found in this biosphere reserve, that also similar plants and animals which are found in Western Himalayas, in the upper region part of the Himalayas and Western Ghats, will find in there itself. So similar plants, so that are conserved here in this biosphere reserve. So next is so here so these are who are responsible for taking care of this wildlife and this forest and plants, living plants. Who are responsible for caring? So here, some employees, forest employees are there to guide the children inside the to preventing areas of such biological importance make them a part of our national heritage. So here, some the government employees they put their efforts to conserve all these uh, uh, biosphere reserves or part of Panchamari biosphere reserve where the plants and animals are conserved. So here, what is the importance of this conserving of this importance of conserving all these plants and animals? So it it is our national heritage we can say. So society government they are putting efforts, they are giving their efforts to protect this all such kind of plants and all other species. So these are important to keep our heritage alive. Next is we'll study here some definition of this chapter, some definition. So here we'll discuss to protect our flora and fauna. Flora means plants such as like fungi, microorganism. We can say flora means plants. Fauna means animals and their habitats. Protected areas called sanctuaries. What are sanctuary? What is sanctuary? Some in exam if it is comes. What is sanctuary? Sanctuary you have to write to protect our flora and fauna and their habitats. Protected areas are called those protected area. Those land protected land are called what? Sanctuaries. National parks and biosphere reserve. These three words: sanctuaries, national park, and biosphere reserve. These are called protected areas. We don't know what is land that is kept safe or some animals or plants are kept safe in those particular area. Those plants areas are called sanctuary. Sanctuaries are definition is different. National park is different, but they are kept for same purpose. So here uh, reserves have been embarked. Plantation, cultivation, grazing, felling trees, hunting, and poaching are also prohibited here. Here, these are the things which are not done in this particular protected areas. So, sanctuary. What is sanctuary? Sanctuary means areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat. In villages, you will find there is a festival. In that festival, they will go for in the forest for hunting wild animals. So these are restricted here. These are not done in these centuries. So due to this reason, they are keeping all those animals and some important species of plants and animals. They are kept in separate area that is called sanctuary. What is national park? Areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitat and natural resources. Here, the particular area where they will reserve the wildlife, where they can freely use habitat, means they can freely live there and they can use those resources, natural resources. And what about biosphere reserves? What about biosphere? What about biosphere reserve? But large area of protected land. Here also large area where protected land. There is a boundary. There is a line where the land is protected for conservation of wildlife. plants, animals, resources, and traditional life of the tribal living in that area. People also live, tribal people, they live and also settle in that particular area. That whole vast area or vast land is protected for wildlife. Also, we can say plants and animals, resources, and also some tribal people live in particular area. These are called biosphere reserves. So now we'll learn, we'll read. So here we discussed the government lays down rules, methods, and policies to protect and conserve them. The government have different rules and regulation, and they have different policies how to conserve wildlife and animals. So wildlife sanctuaries, national park, biosphere reserves, etc., are protected areas for conservation of plants and animals present in that area. What the reason of wildlife sanctuary, national park, biosphere reserve? These are the answer. What is answer? Are protected areas for conservation of plants and animals present in that area. This is the reason, valid reason why wildlife sanctuary, national park, biosphere reserves uh, are, are, are built by the government, are formed by the government, we can say. Here, activity 7.3, you have to do by yourself. Activity 7.3. What is telling? Find out the number of national park, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserve in your district. You have to do by yourself. You have to do by yourself. So these areas in an outline map of your state and India. You take a print out and locate those wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves which are found in India. Locate them and show them with the help of marker. We can say by some symbol you can show them. You make a outline map of India and show this wildlife sanctuary. Okay, so 7.1 protected areas of the 7 point table 7.1 you have to do by yourself in a rough notebook. So please note those. These are the homework that I am giving in this chapter. So you have to do by yourself. You have to be uh, functionally. Whatever I say, you have to do it. So it will be easy for you to prepare in exam. So next is first one is biosphere reserve. What is biosphere reserve? We will study today. So biosphere reserve. Children along with Professor Ahmed already this is discussing. Professor and the children are discussing regarding this chapter. So I will not read all those. But what is important, I will read. What is biosphere reserve in actual term? What is biosphere reserve? Biosphere reserve are those are the areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. As you are aware that biodiversity is the variety of plants, animals, and microorganisms generally found in an area. Biosphere reserve in simple term are the areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. What is biodiversity? What is biodiversity? Biodiversity, biological, biological or diversity. Diversity means different variety, or biological means biological or diversity. Biological or diversity, the two words are combined to form a biodiversity. So here biodiversity. So variety of general, what a variety of animals and plants life exists on this earth, such as plants, animals, some fungi, some microorganisms. These are the uh, different bio biolife that exists on the earth, or you can say variety of animals and plants that exist on earth. These are what? These are kept in a particular area. These are found in generally in a particular area where it can be protected and they can be raised. Got it now? So the biosphere reserves help to maintain the biodiversity and culture of that area. Culture of that area. These are important. What is the importance of biosphere reserve? What is the importance of biosphere reserve? This is the first point. Actual point helps to maintain the biodiversity and culture of that area. A, a biosphere reserve may also contain other protected areas in it. Other protected areas in it. This is also another second point. The the Panchmari biosphere reserves consist one national park named Satpura and two wildlife sanctuaries named Bori and we can say Bori and Panchmari. These are the also this Satpura area, this area where this Panchmari biosphere reserves is located in Madhya Pradesh, is Satpura, and also other national parks are also found. That is Bori and Panchmari. So this you have to remember, you have to underline and remember all this. wildlife sanctuaries which are found in this Madhya Pradesh. So this is your homework today's this table 7.1 you have to do by yourself, and this is the Panchmari Biosphere Reserves area, also protected area. So here 7.1 is your homework. 7.1 7.4 is your homework. List the factors disturbing the biodiversity of your area. Some of these factors and human activities may disturb the biodiversity unknowingly. List these human activities. How can this be checked? So list the factors disturbing the biodiversity of diversity of your area. So here cutting of trees, one of the factors. Cutting of trees, rising air. Rising air means what? If there is a deforestation, definitely the earth temperature will increase. So water and there will be a pressure and temperature will difference will come. So this due to pressure and depression there will be a causing of chances of causing cyclone. So water and land pollution also caused. Water and land pollution also caused. Excessive construction take place. They will cut down the trees, they will clear the area, they will use for cultivation, they will use for construction factories, and using more resources other than product or other product affect the biodiversity harshly. They are using more the uses of resources, more uses of resources also can also harshly affect to the biodiversity. Got it now? So these are the reason why uh, deforestation affect the environment, and also why we how to keep safeguard to the environment. We are the government have laid down certain organization through which we can conserve the wildlife and other uh, plants and forest. So next we'll study flora and fauna. This is about plants and animals we are talking about, how we conserve all those plants and animals. Thank you. Today's chapter is this much. So next we'll study next topic, that is flora and fauna. So already I have uploaded um, chapter number 5 and 6 exercise solution. You have to solve it by yourself workbook and get ready for exam. These two chapter will come in exam. So get prepare well and do well in the exam. Thank you.